Hello, Anya Simmons, Parenting Success Coach here. I wanted to talk with you today in regards to those days when we spend most of it saying, no, stop, don't do that, don't do this, stop, no. I'm sure as parents we can all relate to those words. They come out of our mouth fairly fast, don't they? And I had listened to a talk earlier this week, a TED talk by Michelle, for her name, Michelle Charfen, not sure if I've pronounced that right. Anyway, a very interesting one. And it drew to my attention, a reminder for me, how often we put forward what we don't want as opposed to put forward what we do want. So I have those 3 tips for you here on how to change that, perhaps how to or lessen it, so not shouting no and stop every moment we open our mouth, and to be kind to ourselves on the days that we are, right? Lots is always going on, and sometimes you need to say that, but sometimes it's really just a reaction that we use because we don't like what's going on, as opposed to stepping back and looking at the behavior instead, right? So one would be just that. Is it necessary to say no? Is what the children are doing, life-threatening? They're going to hurt themselves, hurt someone else, damage something. And to be a little more conscious of when we shout no or stop, when that's not the case. When it's just because it's noisy or it's not really what we wanted to happen, to refrain a little more from when we do that. That would be the first one, to just check in. Is it necessary? Right? Some days it is. Okay, I'm in the kitchen, I've got a knife, I'm cutting something, you guys running through. No, that's not. But tip number 2 would be more based on working with what you do want, right? Putting out and telling our children what it is we do want, what our expectations are, so that we're a little clearer then, or they're a little clearer, and we're a little clearer with where our boundaries are, so everybody knows what they're working with. I would imagine for a child, if they're constantly hearing no, don't, stop, it becomes just that they're not supposed to do something, but they don't necessarily have the brain power or the thought process in the way that we would like them to think, my mum doesn't like it when, or this isn't safe for me. They don't really think in that way when they're little. So maybe a better one would be, I'm in the kitchen now, using the example from before. We're not going to be running through because Mummy has sharp knives, Mummy's cooking, the things are hot, and sort of placing that out there rather than the same with like tying up toys or how we treat our siblings, to have a more speech and talk going on, to just sort of let them know their expectations, so that can ease off some of the no's and the stops a little, hopefully. And then the third one would be more based on to help with some of the, especially the crazy times in your house, to help with some of those situations, to do more of a talking ahead of time when everyone's calm and happy, to help have the children involved in these negotiations, in these talks, in these rule setting, in the boundaries, so that your children are part of the solution, part of the way, to sort of say, okay, when everyone comes home from school, this is what we need to do, or bedtime, or, when we play, we pick up afterwards, we, don't throw toys, those kind of things, and just have the children involved in that. They want a calm and ordered household too. Obviously, some days they come home full of steam and energy, and the best way would be to, do something about that first. If to sit to do homework is really hard, if to get them back into, okay, we're inside now, if that's not working, maybe work with how to let off steam. They feel better coming to the park after school, or whatever it be. That's another talk a little. But to have it so that those 3 steps kind of clear it up, so that you aren't feeling like, oh, every 5 minutes I'm shouting, no, don't do that, stop. And the child's not feeling like, oh, everything I do, I'm not allowed to do, without really that reassurance or that backup. Anyway, hope those help. Please let me know. I'd love to have a discussion on whether this works for you, or whether this is helpful, or how you'd like to sort of tweak it to suit for you and your family. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.